Dear friends, a good night. Over the first days of Yontiv, we spent some time after davening focusing a little bit on each of the Ushpizin and recognizing that as we have the opportunity to host these sacred guests each and every day in our sukkah, it's an opportunity to learn from their sacred personalities as well. So now we find ourselves on the fourth day of Succos, the Ushpizin of Yosef. What could we learn from this sacred and hallowed personality? What is it that we can learn from Yosef as we host him in our sukkah? What could we take from his life? What could we take from his midos that can make us into better people? And if you notice, Yosef had two sons. The first one was Menashe, the second son was Ephraim. And Yosef, of course, had very specific reasons for these names. Menashe, Kinashani Elokim es kol amali v'es kol beis avi. Hashem allowed me to forget all of my suffering, all the difficulties. And then Ephraim, Ki Efrani Elokim be'eretz anyeh. Hashem allowed me to be successful in the land of my suffering. And a lot of times we think to ourselves, shouldn't it be the opposite? In other words, shouldn't the first son be Ephraim? Because here, Yosef had all of this success. Remember, he was sold to Egypt down as a slave. He was a no one, he was a nothing. And then he rises in prominence to the point that he is the viceroy of Egypt. So I would have thought that as a result of this newfound success, so then Yosef was able to forget all of the trials and tribulations of his past. But yet that's not how the names are organized. First name Menashe, Hashem allowed me to forget. And then second name Ephraim, Hashem allowed me to be successful. And what Yosef is teaching us is a tremendous life lesson. That if you want to be successful in life, a person has to find a way to somehow let go of the failures, let go of the pain, and sometimes even let go of the trauma of the past. While we never really forget the scars of our past, sometimes we have to compartmentalize them in order to be able to move on. You see, if Yosef would have kept his familial trauma with him every moment of every day, if he would have realized how he was mistreated by his brothers, and not just mistreated, if he would have constantly remembered and focused on how his brothers stripped him of his clothing, of his dignity, of his place in the family, sold him like a piece of property into Egypt, it would have paralyzed Yosef. But instead, Yosef makes a conscious life decision. Menashe, Kinashani Elokim es kol amali. Sometimes you have to quote unquote forget. Now the truth is we don't forget. Yosef didn't forget. We know that he didn't forget because when the brothers finally come down to Egypt, all of those memories come rushing back. So it doesn't mean that he forgot the trauma of his past. What it means is he compartmentalized it. He took the pain and he said, it can't live on the frontal lobe. It can't be sitting on my sleeve. I have to put it somewhere. Not forget it, because you often can't forget the pain and the trauma of your past. But I have to somehow put it somewhere else so that it's not the primary part of my life. Only after you're a Menashe, then and only then can you become an Ephraim. Then and only then do you have the ability to be successful. And what a tremendous lesson for all of us. We all have the stuff we carry with us through life, the scars, the wounds, the failures, the hurt, the betrayal, all the different things that we accumulate over the course of our journey of life. And if you allow it to live on the front of your mind, if you allow it to occupy primary real estate in your neshama, it paralyzes you. Sometimes, like Yosef, we have to learn the art of forgetting. We have to learn how to live a little bit of a life of Menashe. And then if we're able to take some of the pain and some of the difficulty, I can't forget it and I can't erase it, but I can maybe set it aside a little bit, give it its own place, free up a little bit more of my mind, free up a little bit more of my heart and my soul. Then Ephraim, Ki Efrani Elokim be'eretz anyeh. Hashem allow me to be successful. I have to figure out how to take the pain, put it somewhere so that the success, the Ephraim moments of life are able to come to fruition. This is the lesson of Yosef HaTzadik. This is the lesson of today's Ushpizin. We should be Zocha Emiras Hashem to host Yosef in our sukkah today, and we should be Zocha to Emiras Hashem learn from his life lessons as well. Wishing everyone a good Mayid and a good Yantiv.